Huzzah! Here we have everything done with our acrylic paints. Yay! I think it looks great, man. I'm really super excited how good that stuff came out. How much it really stands out on each piece. I really didn't have to do like a lot of layers as I thought I was gonna have to do when I first looked at it. But man, it's really solid. So I'm excited to try this stuff out later. But that said, we're gonna move finally on to sealing all this stuff in. So that way it's gonna be, a little bit water resistant and just kind of keeping all of our dyes in place. To do that, we're going to use this here Fiebing's Resolene. It's going to it's going to feel a little waxy. Whatever cloth we're going to use, once it dries, it'll be kind of brittle and all that kind of stuff like that. But because of that, it's really going to seal everything in. So before we do that, again, I'm going to go through and just buff everything just to make sure any kind of excess of that acrylic dye is off. Yeah, a little bit's coming off. We're doing it, to get rid of that extra dye and just to make sure our pieces are, don't have any extra debris on them. Because if, say there's dog hair in my case, lots of dogs, or any stuff like that, we want to make sure it's not on the piece. Otherwise, it's going to get, trapped into the sealer. And we just don't want any of that kind of stuff. Any kind of lint or that, whatever. Fantastic. A little bit's coming off on the cloth. I don't know if you can see that against this white background here. This white background is just a bit of, I have big like Post-it boards with just these pieces of paper. I use them for my D&D games. They're, they got the squares on the backside. But I'll use old maps that I don't need anymore. I'll strip off the piece and I'll use it as a backer for when I do my Resolene, just to have something to kind of keep the Resolene off any other surface I don't want it to get onto. Fantastic. All right, so we're ready. All I'm going to use is one of my shop cloths. It's good and it's kind of like this fabric here. It's nice and soft, not too abrasive. I'm going to shake a little bit. I'm not going to shake. I'm not trying to put this through like a paint shaker. Just want to kind of shift it around just to mix things up a little bit. And dip it on. So there I've got just a little bit. You don't need a ton. And I'm just going to go, in this case, one direction. Just like the band. And I'm just doing that. Making sure it gets on the entire piece. Go in this direction here. As you can see, some of the dye is still going to come out. I let this dry for 24 hours. Not the acrylic. Surprisingly, the acrylic is not coming off at all, which is fantastic. But a bit of the gel antique is coming off, and that's to be expected. You're going to lose a little bit, but it's generally that's going to be all surface level stuff. So once you get that on, you can feel it's a little tacky. That's good. Once it all dries, it won't be tacky anymore. It's also going to be a little bit shinier than the other pieces that don't have it on. And that's it. That's all it takes to seal it in. So I'm going to go do the backside. Just long strokes. and get that dye in, or sorry, get that sealer in there. Get that Resolene right into the leather. Just gonna kind of do my edges a little. So, story time, boys and girls. I have a large breastplate that I made. Did everything with this Resolene. I wore it out to a LARPing event in Georgia summer heat, and basically was just wearing that thing and a vest, and the whole front of it, I sweat through the leather. And it was just awful how much I sweat. And I was just like, man, all the dye is going to run out of this thing. Not a single drop of dye on the front side of that piece was messed up. Everything dried out. You can't tell that happened at all. There's no water stains in the entire piece. On the back side, some of the dye came out, but I think that's just because, this isn't treated with the veg tan. But man, I was just so impressed with how good the Resolene worked. It kept all the dye in. You cannot tell I sweat through it. Fantastic. So again, that's why my vote will always be for some Fiebing's Resolene. All right. I know, gross story too. I sweat all over everything. But man, it worked. I tell you what. Bobby. It is late. It is late for me and I am tired. But man, look at that. It just goes on just like that. Probably going to do just another coat. Doesn't feel quite as tacky as I would have liked on this one. I don't think you can do too many coats, honestly. In fact, you could probably do a coat if you really want to be particular about it. Let it dry for 24 hours or a couple of hours. Throw on another coat. I don't think it could hurt. Solid. And and I'm treating it because it's going to go on moose, and that kid is in the drooly stage, something fierce. So it would be nice to have a bit of water protection from all that drool. Actually, at this age, he'll probably grab it and try to shove it in his mouth instantly. What's this taste like? Which is fine. All these are natural products. So I say that. Keep out of the reach of children. Do not ingest. Uh-oh. Hopefully he won't put this in his mouth. I don't think it'll be a problem once it's all dried, honestly. I say that. And in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be like, guys, watch out. I poisoned my child. No, I think that just means don't let them drink it straight up. So this stuff will go on a little bluish. I'm even getting some white residue in this. Don't worry. It'll dry out. It'll dry up. And it will not affect the color of your piece one bit. Okay. To the back side. And it's that simple. You do want to seal every one of your pieces. That's just going to be something you're going to have to do. This is just part of the process. But trust me, you're going to want to do it. Just no ifs, ands, or buts. there's a part of me that thinks even after sealing, I might be able to go back over with the acrylic paint if needed. Paint some more stuff on here and then seal it again. I have a feeling that's a possibility. I don't see why not. So that's something else to consider in your own projects. It might even give everything a nice base to work off of. I don't know. Something to think about for the future. Okay. Fantastic. And our final piece. So next, I don't know what we're going to do. You'll just have to go to the video and find out, see what's the next part of the project. It could be punching holes. It could be working on the straps. In fact, I'm probably fairly certain it is going to be the straps next. But I'm not going to say for certain. You're just going to have to go and find out. How about that? You're going to have to click on the next video. I ain't going to tell you nothing. Get nothing out of me. You'll just have to get it from the channel. My ploy is working. To make you watch the channel. Actually, I hope you're honestly, I hope you're following along with your own project. I hope you're doing this along with me. Come on, man. We'll do the Bob Ross of leatherworking. We're gonna put a happy little green, some green acrylic right here. See, I'm working in paints and dyes. Heck yeah, Bob Ross. He's the man. So there we go. We are acryliced up. Or sorry, we were sealed in. We got our Resolene going. Everything's going to be looking great. So for the next part, yeah, I think straps will probably be where we're going to need to go to next. The next thing we're going to want to do. I was lucky. I actually have a lot of straps from a past project that I did, and they were just too short. So I just kind of got these hanging out. So I won't have to necessarily cut out new straps. I can just use some old stuff that I've done. I'll still talk about how to cut them out. I just probably won't do any cutting myself this time around. But we'll get into how that's done. But I'm going to be using these for all the straps. And you know, the straps again will be a bit that goes around his arm here, and we'll have a buckle, and then the other bit will be what goes from here around his chest, and we'll have a buckle, you know, somewhere here, maybe under his arm. Yeah, so in the end, the pauldron and the chest piece will actually be two separate pieces that you can either take one off or the other, and can mix and match as needed. All right. Again, guys, thanks for checking this video series out. Thanks for following us and following along. Again, if this does make you interested in wanting to start back over, if you haven't started with us before, this whole pattern is on my Gumroad account, which will be linked in the bottom in the description. Go over to the Gumroad. It's a small fee for the pattern itself, but you can get that and then start along with us and start back from the beginning. Great. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.